SCP-5217 3D-extinction. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-5217 is to be kept within a standard containment unit at Site-57 and is to be accessible only to personnel with Level 2 clearance or above. All instances of SCP-5217-1 through -3 are to be contained within a hermetically sealed container and are only to be opened during testing or use in Project Replenish. Additionally, the testing of art, photography, and sculpture in any form upon SCP-5217 is restricted unless required for Project Replenish. Any personnel found in possession of any of the aforementioned materials when entering SCP-5217's containment cell without proper clearance are to be detained, reprimanded, and demoted accordingly. Description: SCP-5217 is a copying machine, resembling a standard Dell Xerox color copier with an abnormally large scanning tray, with a rectangular opening in place of the paper dispenser, and a symbol of a stylized M where the company logo would typically be. The machine's anomaly manifests when a piece of organic matter, fossil, or an image of a perceived organism is scanned. Upon doing so, the machine's menu will ask if the operator would like to add, alter, or continue. If continue is selected, the machine will begin to lightly shake before dispensing a tray with 3 translucent embryonic sacs composed of a currently unknown, highly fragile, biodegradable plastic hereby referred to as SCP-5217-1, -2, and -3. When Add is selected, the menu will inform the operator to place another item on the scanner. Once this is done, the menu will ask again if the operator would like to add, alter, or continue. This menu will always reappear until continue is selected. Once continue is selected, and after all additional items are scanned, the machine will shake gently and SCP-5217-1 through -3 will be dispensed. However, SCP-5217-1 will now contain a genetically stable blend of all scanned items. SCP-5217-2 and -3's embryos will follow a similar form of splicing, but with each of the scanned organisms' food sources and predators or competitors respectively. If Alter is selected at any time, the touchscreen will display a map of the scanned organism's genetic code and will allow an operator to alter the scanned organism's genes in whatever way they see fit. However, changes to the code that might cause the immediate death of the organism upon birth are locked. SCP-5217-1 through -3 is the aforementioned sacs, each containing embryos pertaining to the item scanned, with a perfect 1-to-1 ratio of males to females, when applicable, and symbols resembling that of the stylized M found in the machine etched into their internal structures. Footnote 1. Offspring of organisms produced by SCP-5217-1 through -3 do not exhibit this trait and are otherwise non-anomalous, but with the following differences. 5217-1 contains the embryos of the average number of offspring said scanned organism would produce. 5217-2 contains the embryos of species of plants, animals, or materials the scanned organism would subsist upon, as well as their respective food sources. 5217-3 contains the species that would prey upon or otherwise compete with SCP-5217-1. It should be noted that if any instance of SCP-5217-1 through -3 be broken, the embryos inside will rapidly mature until they reach adulthood. All site personnel are thus encouraged to exercise caution while handling 5217-1 through -3 instances. Discovery. SCP-5217 was discovered at the University of Tasmania on April 6, 2019, when numerous reports of sightings of the long-extinct Thylacinius cynophalius, Tasmanian tiger, began to circulate. An investigation was launched, and it was discovered that Dr. Hugh Sanderson, head paleontologist at the university, was behind the thylacinids' reappearance via the use of SCP-5217. Upon the capture and subsequent interrogation of Dr. Sanderson, it was revealed that the doctor had acquired the item while shopping for a replacement copying machine online from an anonymous seller on Craigslist, and discovered the machine's anomalous properties when he tried to copy an image of a Labrador Retriever puppy for his office. Dr. Sanderson was later administered Class A amnestics and released back into the general populace, while investigation into the identity of the seller was launched. See Addendum 2. Addendum 1. Test logs. Test 1. Input: a live rat strapped down to the scanning tray. 5217-1. 16 rat embryos. 5217-2. 64 seeds of 25 varying species of nut and fruit-bearing plants. 5217-3. 46 embryos from various species of predatory birds, mammals, and reptiles, several of which having been categorized as extinct since the 18th century. Test 2. Input: a recently euthanized rat with scanned genes altered to increase the size to 2 meters tall. 5217-1. 4 abnormally large rat embryos, roughly 2 meters in height and 850 kilograms when fully grown, with notably reduced incisors and an increased number of molars typically found in grazing species. 5217-2. 34 seeds of 15 various species of nut and fruit-bearing plants, as well as 55 seeds of 9 different grass species. 5217-3. 30 embryos of 10 distinct predatory species such as wolves, lions, and several unknown species of large birds and reptiles. Test 3. Input: a first sample taken from the previously used rat, a photograph of a golden retriever, and a branch of a common alder birch tree found outside Site 57. 5217-1. 6 embryos of an organism with a tail, torso, and fur patterns resembling that of a rat, with numerous plant-like growths along the organism's back and the limbs and head of a golden retriever. 5217-2. 138 embryos of 75 different hybridized combinations of bird, rodent, deer, and plant life. 5217-3. 55 embryos of 10 different hybridized combinations of coyote, wolf, red-tailed hawk, raccoon, and human. Test 4. Input: a feather of a hyacinth macaw. 5217-1. 2 hyacinth macaw embryos. 5217-2. 32 seeds from 12 nut and fruit-bearing trees mostly native to South America. 5217-3. 2 tuco toucan embryos. Test 5. Input: a blurry photograph of a snow leopard. 5217-1. 4 snow leopard embryos. 5217-2. 92 embryos from 7 different species of Himalayan goat and sheep, as well as 120 seeds from 30 Himalayan grass and shrub species. 5217-3. 2 Himalayan SCP-1000 embryos. Test 6. Input: a rib bone of the extinct Steller's sea cow. 5217-1. 2 stellar sea cow embryos. 5217-2. 85 spores from 5 different kelp species and 300 spores from tin brown algae species. 5217-3. 2 killer whale embryos and 2 tiger shark embryos. Test 7. Input: a fossilized footprint of a Tyrannosaurus rex. 5217-1. 4 Tyrannosaurus rex embryos. 5217-2. 12 Edmontosaurus embryos, 16 Triceratop embryos, and 55 embryos from 18 unidentified theropod, mammal, and reptile species, as well as 65 seeds from 19 different unidentified prehistoric plant species. 5217-3. 2 Carcharodontosaur embryos. Test 8. Input: a degraded bone shard from SCP-2256. 5217-1. 2 SCP-2256 embryos. 5217-2. 50 fish embryos from 13 different species, 22 bird embryos from 5 different species, and 35 spores from 10 different species of kelp. 5217-3. 2 embryos resembling SCP-1128. Footnote 2. Embryos were immediately disposed of, and all observing staff were administered amnestics. Test 9. Input: a scientifically inaccurate portrait of an artist's rendition of a pterosaur. 5217-1. 6 embryos resembling said pterosaur. 5217-2. 22 embryos that appear similar to multiple historically false depictions of prehistoric species, including Stegosaurus, Ankylosaurus, and the woolly mammoth, as well as 48 seeds belonging to 29 unknown plant species. 5217-3. 12 embryos that match incorrect depictions of Tyrannosaurus rex, saber-toothed tiger, and a predatory Therizinosaurus. Test 10. Input: a 12th century wood carving of a griffin from Wales. 5217-1. 6 embryos resembling the griffin depicted in the carving. 5217-2. 22 embryos belonging to 4 species of sheep and cattle typically bred on the British Isles. 58 seeds belonging to 13 species of plants native to England, and 36 embryos matching the 12th century descriptions of 19 different mythological creatures present in English folklore. These creatures include unicorns, boggarts, brownies, morgans, footnote 3, sadistic water nymphs that dwelled in the rivers and lakes of England, and various other fae. 5217-3. 4 embryos which appear similar to early depictions of dragons found in England. Footnote 4. Due to the extremely high levels of thaumaturgical activity detected within the aforementioned embryos, these SCP-5217-1 through -3 instances have since been handed over to Site-57's Thaumaturgical Zoology Department for further study and containment. Test 11. Input: cover art from the novel Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. 5217-1. 4 embryos of a red-skinned humanoid species matching that of Red Martians from the novel. 5217-2 94 embryos of 22 species of flora and fauna native to Mars and its moons, as well as 16 non-existent species of Martian life that appear similar to those described within Burroughs' John Carter of Mars series. 5217-3 68 embryos of 10 predatory species of life native to Mars and 16 predatory species that appear in the novels. In addition to this, 3 species of sapient organisms native to Mars and 12 species of sapient organisms described in Burroughs' work also appear. Footnote 5. All entities produced during this test were unable to survive in an Earth-like environment when released from SCP-5217-1 through -3 and had to be moved to a specialized containment cell with conditions matching that of Mars. Test 12. Input: a crayon drawing of Dr. Ferguson's family holding hands on a hill by the doctor's youngest daughter. 5217-1 2 embryos of a multicolored segmented organism with 8 pairs of legs, 4 bulbous sacs with eyes along its dorsal ridge, and no identifiable head. 5217-2 50 seeds of 15 different species of grass, trees, and shrubbery that resemble the flora present in the drawing, as well as 6 worm-like embryos capable of flight. Footnote 6. It has been deduced that these organisms are the birds in the child's drawing. 5217-3 a single embryo of a large flaming spherical organism, identifiable as the sun in the image. Test 13. Input: a copy of the abstract painting, number 5, 1948, by Jackson Pollock. 5217-1 Unknown. 5217-2 Unknown. 5217-3 Unknown. Footnote 7. All organisms produced immediately breached containment, killing Dr. Ferguson and injuring several others in the process. Efforts to locate the escaped entities are ongoing. Message from the site director. Date: April 3rd, 2021. To Site 57 staff. From the desk of Site Director Thomas Marie. Subject: SCP-5217. Attention all Site 57 personnel. As I'm sure most of you know, a few months ago we experienced a containment breach involving SCP-5217 that cost us the life of one of our head researchers and hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages to on-site property. Such containment breaches have been, for the most part, unheard of in Site 57 and has become somewhat of a stain upon our site's generally safe working environment. Many of you have emailed me directly, expressing your concerns regarding our site's continued containment of the item, the status of the search for the escaped -1 through -3 entities, and why more resources have been directed not only towards Site 57, but SCP-5217 specifically as well. It is in regards to these questions that I'm writing to all of you today. To answer the first question, as to why Site 57 has decided to continue its containment of SCP-5217 instead of transferring it to another more secure one, the answer is quite simple. In light of current circumstances involving another SCP, it has been decided that the benefits of SCP-5217's ability to preserve and revive the deteriorating ecosystems of Earth simply cannot be ignored, regardless of the risks. It is with this in mind that a new program has been initiated by O5 Command, Project Replenish. Project Replenish is the Foundation's answer to the growing ecological instability of Earth. For generations, the Foundation has protected humanity from countless dangers that threatened its survival. Now, with the help of SCP-5217, we have a chance of protecting not only humanity, but life on Earth as well. This is why our site has continued to contain SCP-5217, as well as why our site has been provided more resources from the greater Foundation over the past couple months, because our site has been selected to serve as the headquarters for Project Replenish. This does not mean the recent incidents involving SCP-5217 during testing have gone unnoticed. However, and after much deliberation, it has been determined that tests involving abstract art are to be hereby restricted entirely. Furthermore, all testing involving any forms of art, sculpture, or photography are to be similarly forbidden until SCP-5217's functions can be better understood or are authorized to be used for Project Replenish. Due to this, SCP-5217's current security level has been raised to Level 2. Any personnel found violating these new regulations without proper authorization provided by Project Replenish are to be immediately detained, reprimanded, and demoted. I expect Site-57's full cooperation in carrying out this exciting new program, as well as implementing these new safety measures, and thank each of you for your continued service to the Foundation. Sincerely, Site Director Thomas Marie. Footnote 8. As of May 28, 2022, approximately 1.8 million species, mainly composed of species from the lost, redacted kingdom, have been revived and placed within subterranean echo chambers provided to Site-57 for Project Replenish, resulting in a total of 2,348 additional uses of SCP-5217. Authorization to commence releasing said species back into the wild is still pending O5 approval. Addendum 2. On July 12, 2022, agents investigating Dr. Sanderson's personal computer reported having found no evidence of the doctor's claims of being sold SCP-5217 over Craigslist. Furthermore, it was discovered that the doctor had not even used the website for over 5 years. A local mobile task force was dispatched to apprehend the doctor, but upon the team's arrival at his home in Tasmania, Australia, the doctor was found to have died via cardiac arrest. Dr. Sanderson's corpse was recovered from his living room surrounded by tools and printer parts. A note was also discovered, inscribed with several lethal cognitohazards, which was clutched within the doctor's hands, the content of which are transcribed below. Most Valued Production Unit HSAN-43. We here at the community would like to thank you for your contribution to the production of ecological printers. As you know, these machines have proven to be invaluable to furthering our cause, and your dedication to their development has not gone unnoticed. However, it has also come to our attention that you have recently come under the watch of another organization, one whose attention could prove detrimental to our efforts. Not only that, but we have also learned that one of your printers has since been confiscated by the said organization as well. This is unacceptable. We know you understand the dangers the printers possess when being handled without the proper materials more than 20 times. An organization with such little training in the use of these printers, like the one that captured you, could lead to any number of catastrophic ecological disasters the community simply could not handle if we are to achieve our goal. It is with these incredible failures in mind that we, the community, have unfortunately decided to let you go. Footnote 9. It was at this point in the document that multiple lethal cognitohazards were detected. We once again thank you for your many years of service and pray that your transition is not a painful one. Signed, Maternity. An autopsy was later performed upon Dr. Sanderson's remains, where it was discovered that multiple symbols were etched into the doctor's internal organs, all in the shape of a stylized M. Thank you for listening to SCP-5217, 3D-extinction by Dr. Rhodes. If you enjoyed this SCP, please like and subscribe, and follow the link in the description to the SCP Wiki, and vote up the article to support the author and the SCP Wiki as a whole. Also a special shout out to all my YouTube members: Powerless, Last of the Four Horsemen, Stephanie Miller, Senescence, Crescent Wolf, Salzy, Nerodia, Eli Shoup, Brandon Henry, Sanjaya Anthem, Arkham Cookie, Tanis, Ruler of All, Purple Durple 85, Thomas Marks, Hazap 3, A Bumblebee, Azatral, Brian Harper, Killer SSG 41, Kenzie Genus, The Dent Max, True Stiltskin, Piper Laundry, Guest Capone, Joey L, Kyle Osborne, B House, Imbalance Man, Eric Hamilton, and Mark Haga. Thank you for your support. If you would also like to have a shout out, please follow the link in the description. YouTube memberships are confidential, will have access to Saturday members only videos, and all members will have early access to videos. If you'd like to support the channel directly and also receive a shout out, please follow the Ko-Fi link. Have a great weekend, everyone.